Today, in the media conference with Lal Goel, which is brought to you by V4NEWS, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today, the topic is Kerala, the new development model. श्रीफल का भंडार है केरल, इसकी खेती होती है, सागर तट की सुंदरता सबका मन हर लेती है। कटहल, केला, काजू, आम दिखते घर घर उद्यानों में, इला, जायफल, लौंग, मिर्च भरपूर यहाँ बागानों में। कथकली और मोहिनी अट्टम नृत्य प्रांत की ऊंची शान, शिक्षा क्षेत्र में सबसे आगे बनी राष्ट्र में है पहचान। शीशम, सागौन भरे जंगल, पेड़ रबर के उगते हैं, दरी गलीचे बने यहाँ के सबका मन मोहित करते हैं। चावल मछली प्रिय भोजन, सादे जीवन में विश्वास, सभी पंथ के पूजा स्थल गांव-गांव के होते पास। प्रमुख पर्व है यहाँ का ओणम, लेकर आता नई बहार, पूरम पर्व यहाँ पर मनता, हाथी सजते कई हजार। राजधानी है तिरुअनंतपुरम, कोचीन प्रमुख है बंदरगाह, शोभा निरखने केरल की हर मन में होती है चाह। This poem especially sent to us by one of our earlier participants, Mr. Paramatmanand Pandey, for today's topic, that is the Kerala, the new development model. Kerala is a state on the southwestern Malabar coast of India. It was formed on 1st November 1956 following the passage of the state's Reorganization Act by the combining Malayalam-speaking region of the erstwhile states of Travancore, Cochin and Madras. Spread over 38,863 square kilometers, Kerala is the 21st largest Indian state by area. It is bordered by Karnataka to the north and northeast, Tamil Nadu to the east and south, and the Lakshadweep Sea to the west. With 3,33,87,677 inhabitants as per the 2011 census, Kerala is the 13th largest Indian state by population. It is divided into 14 districts with the capital being Thiruvananthapuram. Malayalam is the most widely spoken language and is also the official language of the state. The economy of Kerala is the 10th largest in India with rupees 7.82 trillion, that is 110 billion US dollar in gross state domestic products, GSDP, and a per capita GSDP of rupees 2,04,000, that is US dollar 2,900. Kerala has the lowest positive population growth rate in India, 3.44%, the highest Human Development Index, HDI, 0.784 in 2018, the highest literacy rate, 96.2% in the 2018 literacy survey conducted by the National Statistical Office, the highest life expectancy, 77 years, and the highest sex ratio, 1,084 women per 1,000 men. Kerala is the second least impoverished state in India according to the annual report of Reserve Bank of India published in 2013. The state topped in the country to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals according to the annual report of Niti Aayog published in 2019. The state has witnessed significant immigration, especially to the Arab states of the Persian Gulf during the Gulf boom of the 1970s and early 1980s, and its economy depends significantly on remittances from large Malayali expats community. Hinduism is practiced by more than half of the population, followed by Islam and Christianity. The culture is a synthesis of Aryan, Dravidian, Arab and European cultures developed over millennia under influences from other parts of India and abroad. The production of paper and natural rubber contributes significantly to the total national output. In the agriculture sector, coconut, tea, coffee, cashew, and spices are important. The state's coastline extends for 595 kilometers, and around 1.1 million people in the state are dependent on the fishery industry, which contributes 3% to the state's income. The state has the highest media exposures in India, with newspapers publishing in 9 languages, mainly English and Malayalam. Kerala is one of the prominent tourist destinations of India, with backwaters, hill stations, beaches, Ayurvedic tourism, and tropical greenery as its major attractions. The Kerala model of development refers to the practices adopted in the state of Kerala. It is characterized by strong social indicators such as high literacy, improved access to the healthcare, high life expectancy, low infant mortality, and low birth rate, often at levels comparable to developed countries despite having a lower per capita income. These achievements, along with the factors responsible for such achievements, have been considered characteristic results of the Kerala model. The Center for Development Studies at Thiruvananthapuram, with the help of United Nations, conducted a case study of selected issues with reference to Kerala in the 1970s as a part of their study. The results and recommendations of this study came to be known as the Kerala model of equitable growth, which emphasized land reforms, poverty reductions, educational access, and child welfare. Economy professor K.N. Raj was the main person behind this study. He started the Center for Development Studies in Thiruvananthapuram in 1971 by the request of Kerala Chief Minister Mr. C. Achyuta Menon. The Kerala model is markedly different from the conventional development thinking, which focuses on achieving high GDP growth rate. Another decade down the road, the Millennium Development Goals, embracing many of the Kerala model's features, with the notable omissions of land reforms, became the new Charter of Development. Mr. Raj's seminal contribution to development policy thus had worldwide repercussions. From 1990 onwards, the United Nations came with the Human Development Index, HDI. This index, which has become one of the most influential and widely used indexes to compare human development across countries, give Kerala model an international recognition. From the starting of this index, Kerala is scored high comparable to developed countries. The India Human Development Report 2011, prepared by Institute of Applied Manpower Research, placed Kerala on the top of the index for achieving highest literacy rate, quality health services, and consumption expenditure of people. The basis for the state's impressive health standards is the statewide infrastructure of primary health centers. There are over 3,300 government and private medical institutions in the state, with 297 beds per 1 lakh population, that is 100,000 population, the second highest in the country after Karnataka. Political awareness among the common people, including children, is quite high, thanks to its history of social reformers like Sri Narayan Guru, Sri Chitambi Swamigal, Kuriakose Ilyas Chavra, Aryan Kali, etc. Leftist movements, and the unique political situation that exists in Kerala. The Palikodam, a school model started by Buddhists, was prevalent in the kingdom of Travancore. This model was later imbibed by Christian missionaries, initiated by then Archbishop of Verapoli, Bernardo Besnelli. OCD paved the way for an educational revolution in Kerala by making education accessible to all, irrespective of caste or religion. Christian missionaries introduced Western education methods to Kerala. Kerala's unusual socio-economic and demographic situation was summarized by author and environmentalist Bill McKibben. I quote, "Kerala, a state in India, is a bizarre anomaly among developing nations, a place that offers real hope for the future of the third world. Though not much larger than Maryland, Kerala has a population as big as California and a per capita annual income of less than $3,000. But its infant mortality rate is very low. Its literacy rate among the highest on earth, and its birth rate below America's and falling faster. Kerala's residents live nearly as long as Americans or Europeans, though mostly a land of paddy-covered plains. Statistically, Kerala stands out as the Mount Everest of social development. There is truly no place like it, unquote. And to discuss today's very, very important topic, that is Kerala, the new development model, we have a very elite, learned, experienced, and those who knows the Kerala inside out panelist with us. I would like to invite my first panelist, and he is Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, IAS. Dr. Bose is a one-man expert commission on labor to prepare an action plan for the welfare and development of the workforce in the context of COVID-19. He was former head of disaster management, Government of India, and Central Draft Relief Commissioner, Government of India. He is also the principal advisor, Government of India Heritage Project. He was the Vice Chancellor of National Museum, University of Delhi. He has authored 40 books in English, Malayalam, and Hindi, including novels, short stories, and essays. 4 of his books have become bestsellers. 4 books on Vastu and architecture and 1 book on housing received prestigious the Sharjah International Book Fair Award. Dr. Bose is an housing expert, innovator, writer, orator, and visionary. The path-breaking institutions set up by him, such as Nirmiti Kendra Building Center, District Tourism Council, and Habitat Alliance, have been replicated at the state, national, and global level. He was the head of the prestigious Supreme Court Committee on the Treasures of Sri Padmanabha Swami Temple. Dr. Bose addressed United Nations General Assembly and specialized sessions 5 times on various international issues. Dr. Bose is the recipient of 31 national and international awards, including United Nations Global Best Practice Award. He also received prestigious Jawaharlal Nehru Fellowship. Kerala government termed him Lord of Ideas. Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh ji called him inspired civil servant, and our Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi called him Man of Idea. Welcome, Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, on our show. Dr. Bose, I can say your karmasthali, your birthplace as well as your workplace was Kerala and is Kerala. Although now you are in the center, so you are for the entire nation. But you have done, because being an IAS officer, you have spent lots of time in Kerala, right from the smallest post, which in our parts there's a subdivisional magistrate, and up to the chief secretary of the Kerala government, as well as now you are one-man expert commission. And you know Kerala from very, very inside. So we would like to know from you, the Kerala, the new development model. Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, please.
Thank you, Mr. Goel. You have already presented a wholesome picture of the sum and substance of the state called Kerala. That makes my task easier. The new development model is based on certain principles which are very, very relevant to the social, cultural, and economic context, particular to Kerala. I will not go into the background of this, but I can straight away come to the point. The action plan for the development of Kerala, which has been drawn up by me on my own, consists of more than 205 specific points which will usher in a new era of economic development and prosperity in the state if implemented with vigor. First, there are certain principles which inform this exercise. Number 1, as a departure from the common strand of making plans in this country. This development plan for Kerala, which is called Leap Kerala, is not based on GDP, but on the gross happiness index. As you know, the gross happiness index is replacing GDP because there is a concept that beyond GDP. It is a king of Bhutan who came up with the idea that it is not a gross domestic product, but a gross happiness index, which means as far as a common man is concerned. That has been accepted by the United Nations. That has been accepted by leading economists also. Now, based on this, I have drawn up this action plan on the principle that there are certain fundamental needs as well as fundamental rights for the people. The fundamental needs and the basic needs are to be addressed if any development plan is to become meaningful and purposeful for the common man. And what are these fundamental needs? As you all know, food, clothing and shelter, employment. First, let us take food. This plan provides for hunger-free state. There shall be no individual who is to go hungry. Therefore, online kitchen system is introduced. The panchayats will take over this. The housewives will cook the food in their own house, and the online delivery that will reach the needy. Kerala will be a hunger-free state. Number two, Kerala is marching towards the goal of total houses for all. As you know, it is in Kerala that the low-cost housing movement was initiated by the Nirmati Kendra, which the UN has hailed as a global best practice in cost-effective and environment-friendly housing. Within 5 years, every individual in Kerala should have a roof over his head. That is number two, total housing. And number three, clothing. For the destitutes, the government and the panchayats will give at least 4 pairs of clothes free every year. Now come to employment. There is a scheme here, 1 job per house. This does not mean that every household will get government jobs, no. It is a job which will lead to income generation. It can be self-employment, it can be startup, it can be anything which will provide employment at least to one person within a family. And if there is nobody who is one person who is left out, government will have a scheme for employment generation of its own. Now coming to the women, we find that women, it is a female dominated, a matrilineal, a matriarchal society that is there in Kerala. But still, women are not recognized to the extent they should. Though it is said, Yatra Naryasta Pujyante, Ramante Tatra Devata, where women are honored, there the gods will rejoice. That is not the practice in the field. Therefore, here, a special scheme has been implemented in which, but this is called the mother is a sheroine. That is every assistance that is given by government, whether it is house or land or any other assistance, will be given in the name of the housewife. This is to empower them. And secondly, every housewife and every student will be eligible for an overdraft of 5,000 rupees. They do not have to depend on anybody in absolute necessity. It's an overdraft. It is not a free grant. There will be a security that I will not be orphaned. Whenever I need, I can draw up to 5,000 rupees from the bank. These are some of the points that are included here. And then, of course, there is also a proposal here, how to reduce the petrol prices. You know, this is something, whereas we know the state government and the central government have a role to play. Since this the project is for the development of Kerala, I will confine to the role of the state government. It is estimated that around 43 rupees from a liter of petrol goes to the state government by way of taxes. Why not reduce 20% and transfer it to the people so that the petrol price can be brought down? These are some of the aspects which are there in the initial part of this. Now, taking it up one by one, the primary sector, the secondary sector, the tertiary sector of the economy. Kerala is a state which is an agricultural state. But because of various social forces, Kerala is depending on the other states for its agricultural needs, even for food. We are a consumer state. If there is no movement of wagons from Punjab, Kerala will starve because we do not produce enough grains here. That has to change. Kerala has to become mostly agrarian. Especially, Kerala has a potential to emerge as a global hub for organic food. And organic agriculture can also lead to a lot of other activities, that is a post-harvest management. As you know, agriculture is not confined to sowing and reaping. Even after that, there are a lot of operations which are income generating and employment generating. Number one, after harvest, there is collection, there is transportation, there is grading, there is storage, there is retrieval, there is marketing, there is export, there is processing. There is tremendous scope for a lot of agripreneurs, entrepreneurs in the field of agriculture, youngsters. There is a lot of scope for agripreneurs to come in the field if Kerala goes back to agriculture. And why it is certain that Kerala will succeed in this? We have a country called Netherlands, Holland, which is almost like Kerala in its geographical features. And there the paddy fields lie below the sea level, like the Kuttanad paddy fields of Kerala. But if Holland can emerge as the one country which feeds almost 50% of the European Union, Kerala has all the potential to come up as an economic superpower if it focuses on agriculture, particularly organic agriculture. Therefore, the first project in the agricultural sector which this action plan highlights is a bunch of crop per inch of land. A bunch of crop per inch of land. How this can be achieved? Through hydroponics, through precision farming, through the various farming practices successfully used in Israel and in Japan and in various parts of India. The action plan clearly lays out how this object of a bunch of crop per inch of land can be achieved. And second is farm to home. There's a lot of exploitation that is taking place in the agricultural sector. The farmer produces, but the farmer does not market. The middleman takes the profit. The farmer does not give adequate wages or adequate income from his produce. Therefore, abolishing middlemen, a kind of online platform is being created where the farm produce will reach the home. That is farm gate to home gate. That is for the marketing. And then, of course, from the farm to the rail, you know, a new introduction of refrigerated trains. Refrigerated trains, which is across the whole country, can serve as a pan-India market for agricultural produce. This was suggested 10 years back. Now, I'm happy to say that in Nirmala Sitharaman's budget, this program has been accepted and announced. We would like to have a Kisan Himsagar, that is a refrigerated train for agricultural produce to start from Kerala and going up to Kashmir. Then, of course, we have to indoctrinate or handhold the younger generation, the new generation into agriculture. Therefore, farm while you learn. Of course, Vice Chancellor is here, so he is the most competent person to address this issue of education. But agriculture or farming should form part of the school curriculum. Instead of project work, which is cut and paste from the computer, let them farm, let them produce results, and marks should be awarded for them. That is a way of catch them young to the field of agriculture. Then, of course, to an extent, as Mr. Goel has pointed out in his narration, Kerala has a lot of plus points, but at one point of time, Kerala bid goodbye to agriculture, and Kerala thought agricultural mechanization is harmful to the country. Therefore, agricultural mechanization was resisted and stopped forcibly. Now there is a dearth of farm hands. Therefore, mechanization is very much required if Kerala is to prosper through in the path of education. Now, gene bank. Craze for hybrid varieties. Kerala lost, like the rest of the nation, the traditional varieties of seeds, which are all leading to a healthy way of life, which used to give immunity to the people. Now, we should have a gene bank where all the traditional crops, the traditional grains, the traditional seeds will be preserved and handed over to posterity. Now, of course, for the marketing of agricultural produce and also for food processing. As you know, at one stage, I happened to be in charge of horticulture mission in the country. 50,000 crores, I underline 50,000 crores worth of vegetables and fruits are wasted in this country because there is no facilities for food processing. Kerala has tremendous facilities for food processing, especially with the startups coming in this field. I think through agriculture, Kerala can have a quantum jump in its economic field. I do not want to expand further on this. I'll certainly take industry sector, services sector, infrastructure sector, social sector, health, education, as when we go forward. If I get another chance, I'll certainly dwell on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bose, for giving your views. And what Dr. Bose says, that the new development model which was created by him and which he has made about 205 points, and he has highlighted those points. Few of them which were very, very interesting was first is the hunger-free Kerala. Second is about the clothing for everyone, then housing for everyone, employment for everyone, and the empowerment for the women and child. Now, this is something, if it is going to happen, then definitely, as per the reports, Kerala is leading in many fields. But if these, all the model which Dr. Bose has suggested, if this will be implemented, which he said that this will be implemented, it will bring Kerala not only top in India, but all over the world. Because as we know that the Kerala's the plus point is the literacy rate. And the second point is the sex ratio, the women, the girl and the boy. Because yesterday I was having a program on International Women's Day, and there the ratio was very alarming in the cities like Delhi and Mumbai. The ratio in Delhi is 832 girls for 1,000 boys. And the worst sex ratio in India is in the defense colony Delhi, which is supposed to be the most elite, one of the elite most colony of the India. So one can understand the Kerala's literacy rate and all. So what Dr. Bose says, if his model, new development model, which he has created, is been implemented in real spirit, then definitely Kerala will show a lead a path which will be a feather for the India to lead as a become a global leader in the world. Thank you very much, Dr. Bose, for giving the new development model. Definitely we'll come back to you to know further more about the industries as you have mentioned. Now I would like to invite my next guest, and he is Dr. M. Abdul Salam. Dr. M. Abdul Salam is PhD and postdoctorate from UK. Dr. Salam is the former Vice Chancellor of the prestigious University of Calicut, which is one of the largest and reputed university in India. As a renowned educationist, agricultural scientist, and education administrator, Dr. Salam, in a career spanning more than 4 decades, from 1975 to 2020, across continents, has established a great reputation as a tireless academic and scientist, besides being recognized as one of the most authoritative voices in the area of higher education. He is an academician and scientist with great zeal and enthusiasm. He has published 153 research papers, 15 review articles, and 13 books in biological sciences. Welcome, Dr. M. Abdul Salam, on our show. Dr. Salam, you have heard Dr. C.V. Anand Bose and his new model, the new development model for Kerala, which he has created. Now, we would like to know from you, the Kerala, the new development model, Dr. M. Abdul Salam, please.
Good morning, Lalji and Bose-ji. And I'm not seeing a third participant over here. Anybody else? Yes. At the outset, let me congratulate Lalji for organizing this discussion at the right time. The election of the Kerala Assembly, Kerala, a new development model, especially NDA has coined a name, development in the way of Modi way. Now, I must congratulate from the bottom of my heart to Dr. Anand Bose. Yesterday, I received a small document, 28 pages, 262 points. I think there are about 262 points. It's really an amazing document, a summary of, development modules touching all the developmental arena of the state. That he has done the job. That document is speaking itself as to what should be done for the new philosophy of New Kerala in the Modi way. I have noted some of the terms like hunger-free Kerala, then housing for all Kerala, then clothing for all, job for all, maybe education, health, everything for all. All means 3.5 crores of about 3.4 crores of people. Now, at this point of time, 67 years of past governance between an LDF government and UDF government, where, they were pulling the state from, instead of they talk, they are bringing them forward. I say they were really bringing them backward, because why I say there's a natural growth and an induced growth. The development that you see in the state is natural because of the fertile field that promotes growth. The induced growth all the time by the politicians, if you just quantify, they are negative. And the induced growth is primarily from the NRI enabled growth, education enabled growth, all maybe partly by the political inducement, but largely because of the involvement of NRI money, exposure to international environments, and the genetic of the ecosystem. As we all know, Kerala is definitely rich in terms of resources, fertile soil, good quality water, abundance of solar radiation, rich biodiversity, excellent manpower, the human power, knowledge rich, traditional value rich, traditional knowledge rich, rich, the pearl of India. I'm happy to be part of the state, but very often I feel disappointed because of the political damage, the political disaster induced by the, let me make it very clear, by the alternating LDF and UDF governments. They are very clever, they are very intelligent, they are very capable of providing lip service. There's no, I don't want to say no or very little action service. They believe in dictating terms and talking well. They are good in issuing orders, never interested in implementing the orders. They are interested only in vote banks, but all the time they talk with affectionate words of the people, but they are never for the people. That's it. The topic over here is new development model for Kerala. I need not talk much beyond what Dr. Ananda Bose has said. But let me say, if you ask me to summarize your thought about the new development model for the state of Kerala, I will put it as A plus B. A is the Modi model that we are seeing at the national level, a mini Modi model. Integrate all the features, all the traits, all the components are amenable and applicable in the state. So list or identify the elements of the Modi model successfully tried at all India level during the past 6.5 years. Every element is applicable, possible, and feasible in the state of Kerala. Then what is that B? I also had opportunity to visit many countries. The recent my stay for 2 years was in UAE, particularly in Dubai. I was observing that, all the nationals are, all the citizens of various nations are very much interested to be there in Dubai. So my A plus B, A is a body model, B represents certain elements of Dubai model of development. What is the Dubai model of development? Technology rich. It is an autocracy. Technology rich. Infrastructure research. Education rich. Health for all. Food for all. Security for all. Knowledge for all. High quality infrastructure for all. Even the so-called persons from Kerala with a lot of democratic rights in their blood, and often stretching their hand beyond the nose of the neighbor, when they land in Dubai, they are very disciplined because of the discipline-rich environment. They don't want to come back. That means technology-enabled Dubai adopts the best available technology available anywhere in the world first time. So the technology-rich Dubai model of environment, we can copy many, many things. Looking at Dubai, I don't want to copy everything, but looking at the Dubai goodness, we can copy many things. Let us come to the Modi model which we tried. We know successfully our Honorable Prime Minister has introduced several models, not from his voluntary, but taking advantage from the best professionals available along and across the country, and I should say across the globe. The most important thing is the so-called sustainable integrated development models. Under that, the green India concept, how to green India. Today Kerala was green, today it has become gray, and transforming the gray Kerala to green Kerala, indisciplined Kerala to disciplined Kerala, calamity Kerala to happy Kerala. People struggling to work, and the stressed people, transformation of the stress to relief, promotion of resilience ability of the people. I also say a need for regulating the license Raj that cripple the growth. How best we can make it investor friendly, worker friendly. The COVID-induced system that demands a lot of changes, like work from home. The best model I have seen for development in Kerala, one of the best, is that called that I think Bosji may be doing that. What is that? Women centered groups. I forgot that appropriate name.
Kudambasri.
Kudumbashri,
Kudambasri.
exactly, sir. That is the word. The well tested and verified Kudumbashri model, empowering. I don't want government paying money to everybody free. I don't like that economy. Yes, you government pay money free to elders, to children, to disabled, and nobody. Children, elders, disabled, yes. But others, no free. Pay money, ask them to do something, at least part-time job, at least plant trees, at least contribute to the development of the state. That's what I believe. So I believe that lot of things can be done even in the education field. Internationalization, Kerala can be a destination for global education. It can be a destination for global health. It can be a destination for responsible tourism, a paradise for tourism, port development, road development, forest development. I have listed 20 ministries for the government of Kerala, the energy ministry, the governance ministry under the prime minister, the health ministry. I believe every ministry should set up special professional teams to bring the best technology from available from anywhere, and that technology package, innovative technology package available from anywhere in the world, should be brought over here. And we have to develop an out-of-box development package. We have to first change the governance strategy. We should have, just like an email, reply quick and response received sort of service to the people. Instead of people going to the public office, the public servants should reach the people at home and provide the service. We should ensure that public or the citizens are real boss and the employees are really employees. They receive money. The employees should be made to work, and people should be made to have happy. Happiness, we talk about happiness. We don't know how to encourage happiness. We should have a happiness ministry. We should think of infusing happiness in the people. I can talk about every ministry. I believe the best way, One person brain is not enough. 20 ministries, 20 group of experts, 20 into 10, 200, at least 200 professionals, 10 each in every ministry, coming together, working together, developing excellent modules along with the base modules suggested by Dr. Ananda Bose. I am sure that will definitely make a break in the state. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Salam, for giving your the new development model for Kerala. And Dr. Salam said that he agrees with what Dr. Bose has come out with the new development model. But he says that it is only possible if we also incorporate two more things. And he wants, one is the Modi model, and another is the model of Dubai model, which he included in both the things. And he says it is only possible if we will add both of them in the model, which was base model, which was suggested by Dr. Bose. And he is not happy with the alternate governments which are ruling the Kerala from the very beginning. But he says that the thing is we have to come along with the new things, the best things which are happening in India on the national level as well as international level, which he observes himself in UAE. And he says if we will take all the best things, we will create 20 separate ministries where the new people are working, and see to it that everyone is going to work except the elders, the children, and the disabled. Everyone should work, whatsoever is small or big work, no free money, and then only we can see that Kerala can develop like anything. So according to Dr. Salam, because Kerala is ruling, and he has mentioned about happiness, which Dr. Bose has mentioned. And I would like to again highlight that Dr. Bose said that instead of GDP, now we must concentrate for the happiness index, which is started by the Bhutan. Now, in every state or the country, we should have the happiness. If a person is happy, then definitely, whether it's because of GDP or because of other factors, the happiness is required. Thank you very much, Dr. Salam, for giving your very, very strong views about the Kerala, the new development model. Now, I would like to invite my next guest, and my next guest is, I have to see because there are two fathers I can see. Okay, I can see Father Robbie. Now, only problem is Father Robbie, because you have joined at the last moment, I have to just give me 2 minutes because I have to take out your.
All right, it's all right. We know each other.
No, I know that, but it give me 2 minutes only because of the technology is so fast. I will take out your things, no problem. You are Father Robbie, so Father Robbie, I have to check out the Father Robbie. Yes. Yes, Father Robbie, first thing is that you just turn your mobile on a horizontal position.
Oh, like this.
Yes. So because it's a live telecast. Okay. Now I would like to invite my next guest, and he's Father Robbie Kanchira, CMI. He's NGO representatives of United Nations. Father Robbie is the director of Chavra Cultural Center. Father Robbie is a postgraduate in English literature from MG University, Kottayam. He completed his MPhil and is currently pursuing his PhD in English literature. Father Robbie has always been involved with the needs of communities, taking a keen interest in issues faced by the young and young at heart. Father Robbie is very active in the socio-cultural sphere and cares for the needy remotely and on digital platforms. Father Robbie holds the position of Secretary General of World Fellowship of Interreligious Councils, WFIRC. Father Robbie has presented papers on inter-religious topics in the international conferences held at Oxford, Birmingham, Horsham, UK, London, Austria, Doha, Qatar, UAE, Germany, Rome, and Belgium. Father Robbie's life has always been devoted to the poor and downtrodden. Empowerment of auto taxi drivers in Munnar town was yet another of his revolutionary initiatives, wherein drivers were given regular training in spoken English, grooming, and etiquette. This, in turn, helped auto and taxi drivers adopt a positive attitude towards passengers, especially tourists, and enhance their earnings as well. Welcome, Father Robbie, on our show. Father Robbie, you have heard what Dr. C.V. Anand Bose has spoken about his, the new development model of Kerala, which he has created, as well as Dr. M. Abdul Salam, who has spoken about the new development model of Kerala, as well as he has added two more points, the two models of Modi model as well as Dubai model in the base model of Dr. C.V. Anand Bose. Now, we would like to know from you the Kerala, the new development model. Father Robbie Kamcharia, please.
Thank you, Alal Goelji. I'm really happy that once again we meet each other in this platform. And my happiness is now added with the presence of my mentor, Ananda Bosji. And yesterday, fortunately or unfortunately, Ananda Bose sir has sent me this new model developments in Kerala, because he is supposed to send to my twin brother, but fortunately that sent to me too. But now, unfortunately, when my twin brother is unable to attend this session, I am asked to join this session suddenly just before 5 minutes. My twin brother called me. But fortunately, I have I had gone through this concepts which he has expressed.
You have muted. Yes,
Sorry,
yes, please go ahead. Go on. Yes, please go ahead.
I could go through almost all the concepts which is shared here. I'm really happy, and let me express my sincere appreciation to Bosji, and I bow my head in front of his great illuminating thoughts. And it would have been expressed years back in Kerala panorama, where thinkers and people, those who love Kerala, really wish to be with such ideas, workable ideas. And I have my mind and my heart is very close to this few, which in the limited time, I am just expressing that. That's this social harmony, the area of social harmony, and this funding and infrastructural developments, and this labor commission, and all other issues are relevant, and that must be considered. But his concepts on this social integration councils and the social harmony and art and cultural area, and all these things must be done immediate care with physical interactions of the ministry. That's what my first concern, because all these areas are very relevant, and nowadays it imparts so many ambiguities in the heart of the people relating this social harmony and this concern related to this religious fanaticism, and especially this political and religious noxious nexus. It is a nefarious nexus between this political and here in another way. So this social harmony, concepts of social harmony, and this and the place which is in this country, and all those concerns are the most relevant concerns in this planet seems. So political, religious, art and cultural area, and everything is mentioned, everything is studied in a minute manner, and it is not a one-day work, I understand, and it's the result of months deep study and a leap into the depth of culture. And so that's why I bow my head in front of my dear boss G for bringing up this excellent notes. And I am sure that central government led by Modi ji can do some creative interventions in these areas, especially in Kerala. So I expect that kind of creative interventions from the part of central government will make change in society. That's a challenge to the central government. And as if yesterday's Women's Day message from United Nations, vote to challenge. That if you are taking up that challenge, that will make changes in the society. So that kind of involvement from the part of central government will make change in Kerala's social and cultural and religious area. So interreligious harmony, social harmony must be promoted. And there should be strict adherence to this such concerns. And all these artistic and cultural areas, people, those who are suffering from art and cultural programs. During this time of COVID, many lost their jobs, many lost their livelihood, and all those things must be regained, and they must be given a kind of honorable placing in the society as they were enjoying earlier. And all these things can be done when we are always with the people with these very creative ideas. And this must be studied well. And as Mr. Dr. Muhammad Abdul Salam said, people, those who are having like-minded engagements must be grouped together, must be collected together for working for the implementation of these ideas. So that's my humble suggestions. And since it's a short time, I'm just moving with these concerns with our Ananda Bose ji, and always with him, appreciating his ideas and concerns, and always ready to spend my time and energy and talents in this regard. So with you, Boss ji and Lal Goel ji, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I know that, and I'm sure that this will work wonders in Kerala. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Father Robbie, for giving your views. And Father Robbie says that whatsoever the new model, new development model created by Dr. Bose is a remarkable thing. And he has highlighted many things of this, whether it is the position of the disabled persons, whether for the communal harmony, and for each and everything. And according to Father Robbie, it's not a 1 day or 1 week or 1 month job. It's a several months hard labor done by Dr. Bose to create such a ideal and which is practical new development model. And he says that if the central government do take it seriously and make it implementable, they implement it properly, then Kerala will definitely have all the peace which is required very badly in Kerala. It is only possible with the intervention of the central government. And he applauded as well as appreciated the efforts by Dr. C.V. Anand Bose. And he says because of the communal harmony, which is very much required in the Kerala at this moment, and because he is working with the disabled, and he says the things which has been highlighted in this model about the disabled as well as for the artist and the art, which those suffered from the COVID-19 very badly, has been also been taken care. So according to Father Robbie, this model which created by Dr. C.V. Anand Bose is an ideal model, practical model, and the government should implement it with full zeal. Thank you very much, Father Robbie, for giving your views. Now, my question goes to Dr. Bose. Dr. Bose, you have mentioned, you have already given the about the agenda and the development of Kerala. You have mentioned about some salient features about about your new development. But in case if you have left, we would definitely like to hear that, as well as what is the place of agriculture industry and infrastructure sectors in that particular your model, apart from the service sector, IT, etc. So can you just highlight those things, Dr. Bose, for the benefit of our viewers? Dr. Bose, please unmute. Please unmute. Please unmute.
Thank you for giving me one more opportunity. We have touched upon the agriculture sector in a fairly comprehensive manner within the time constraint. When we come to the industry sector, Kerala is starved of industries because of various factors. There are proposals for making Kerala a bubbling and rejuvenating industrial states back again. The first proposal is to have a Grand Kerala, Make in Kerala parks to come in various parts of the state. Make in Kerala parks, which will provide all infrastructure facilities and protection from unhealthy practices for the entrepreneurs to invest and grow. Second is ease of business. Kerala is not known for the ease of business. There are so many ways in which this can be done to attract investors to the state. First of all, there are certain practices which are notorious, for which Kerala is notorious. That is, one is a no kuli, which means loading and unloading, you do the work. I just watch it. But for watching, you should pay me. This has to go. Then lightning strikes. Then also, there are instances where people come and make investment here, and one of them had to commit suicide because of the lack of cooperation and the oppressive measures taken by the civil society, particularly the politicians and some trade unions. I do not blame all the trade unions. What is the way out? There can be a single window clearance for licenses and approvals. See, like what they are doing in Singapore. But I know it's not easy for a large country like India to follow the streamlined methods of a small countries like Singapore. But Kerala can do that, but it is easy to say single window clearance. I was also a part of the heading the committees for single window clearance. But each clearance is governed by a legislation. So unless we have a legislation for single window clearance, you cannot abrogate the authorities given to the various functionaries in the various legislations already existing. Therefore, a serious-minded approach towards single window clearance has to result in enabling legislation. There are also various other subpoints, which for want of time, I'm not narrating here. Then we should have a grand scheme for development of the state. See, if we have an industrial corridor connecting Kochi with Mumbai, I think on the line, a lot of industries can come down. All that is required is to provide world-class modern facilities of rail, road, waterways, and airways, and also other infrastructure that is required, industrial corridors. Then comes, we should not go only for the small-scale sector. The small-scale sector is certainly important. I'm not undermining that. But Kerala has got a great tradition of workforce, especially the workforce which have come from various other countries. As Vice Chancellor himself said, see the UAE model. For the development of UAE, the Indian experts have played a great role, particularly those experts who have gone from Kerala. And many of them are coming back. When they come back to the state, they are bringing with them a treasure house of experience of working in multicultural, multilingual, multinational context. This is a rare experience. which even the corporates are looking for. We should have major industries like the defense park and aerospace park, because the technology is available here, the expertise is available here. I know, as Schumacher said, small is beautiful, but big is not bad. You know, it's not about 100 rupee industry, which I'm saying. We should have industries with a heavy investment of 50,000 crores, 1 lakh crores, even more than that. These are the industries which are in the defense parks and aerospace parks. Now, we should improve the infrastructure. Unless infrastructure is improved, we cannot have industrialization. Lenin once said about the Soviet Union, he said, what is 2 things that are required for the Soviet Union? He said, education and electricity. Yes, even now, it is important. For industrial growth, electricity, every infrastructure which is represented by electricity should be there, good roads should be there, and all other facilities for the industrial machinery to grow and flourish in this country. And there are also youngsters, entrepreneurs should be encouraged, especially the startups. India has become the second best in the world as far as startups are concerned. That is because of the center's policy and also, of course, the policies of the state government. Kerala has got a lot of startups, youngsters who can starts up provided. They are handheld and they are given the support. So there is a lot of ways in which we can certainly make Kerala an industrial hub of the world. And number 2, we should have a Grand Kerala Transportation Trail. I underline Grand Kerala Transportation Trail. This is a multimodal integrated transportation trail which will take into account airways, railways, waterways, seaways, and all known forms of transportation. Instead of digging the road today, filling it up tomorrow, that culture has to go. There should be a master plan of creating something like the autobahns of Germany. And if that infrastructure is there, given to this small state connecting each nook and corner, this can become a place where there's a spurt of industrial activities. And then there are certain areas which are important as far as the economic development of this state is concerned. Number 1, health. Number 2, education. Number 3, tourism. Take, for instance, healthcare. Today, Kerala has become a global brand in healthcare, especially because of the COVID, how we face the COVID. The health workers, the doctors, the engineers, the doctors, the nurses, the paramedical staff, they all joined together as a one-man army. And we have taught the world how even a pandemic can be tackled with confidence and care. And also we have our Ayurveda. Kerala Ayurveda is a special brand. All the Ayush varieties of medicine are all here. I think Kerala should emerge into a global healthcare hub. Where, therefore, for that we should have proper, maybe 1,000-acre compound, 3 or 4 such hubs, where excellent hospitals from all over the world will be there. Excellent doctors and nurses, clinical laboratories, all facilities that are required for world-class healthcare can be provided. Kerala can certainly achieve great heights in this field. Number 2, as the Vice Chancellor is here, he said about the UAE model. Let us also have global education hub here, like the education village, knowledge village in UAE, or the similar institutions like in Hong Kong and Korea. Let us also have special education zones where world-class institutions will be here. World-class teachers and our students will be able to get world-class curriculum and world-class education at a very, very affordable price. The third is we should have a Grand Kerala Tourism Trail project also. Yes, we are one of the 10 must-see destinations in the world. But we have to go a long way in developing tourism in the state. We have the grassroots level tourism model, the only one of its kind in the world. The District Tourism Promotion Council, which nostalgically I remember, was first established when I happened to be the District Collector of Kollam. Now, it is there in all the districts of the state, and the Government of India has included it in the National Tourism Policy. Let us have a state-level Tourism Promotion Council, which will take care of the development needs in the tourism sector. I am hastening because of the want of time. Now, to the other sectors of the economy. Yes, no sector can be ignored. We all complain about plastics. I would say in my scheme of things, in this development agenda, I said, throw plastics on the street. Eyebrows raised. Throw plastics on the street. You know how? Plastic can be used for road construction. Use your plastic for road construction. plastic mixed with rubber gives excellent road surface. The plastic menace is avoided, rubber price grows up, everybody is happy. And we have such roads in Kerala. Therefore, then cable tram. Why dig up the roads? Why cut the trees? Why destroy nature in the name of road construction? We have in Latin America and also in London and in New York. Cable tram was mass transportation, not cable car, which is used for 5 or 6 persons or maximum 12 in the tourism areas. Cable tram are mass transport system, which is very people friendly and environment friendly. Kerala can accommodate that. And then we spoke of, yes, people, both, I think Father Roby also said, government has a lot of schemes. Sorry. Government, both central government and state government has a lot of schemes for the poor, but nobody knows what it is. Therefore, we should have facilitation centers in each district, then in the blocks, where an ordinary man can go and say, this is my problem. The people there, the officers there should guide him. Which are the governmental schemes, which the help of which you can take, how to apply for it, how to get a bank loan. Such institutions are to be set up, first in the district headquarters and then in the blocks. Then we should also have institutions like the All India Institute of Medical Sciences here. We should also take up any activity of development only within the SDG 30. Father Roby is in a special consultant status with the United Nations. He knows SDG 30, Sustainable Development Goal, to be achieved by 2030. We are signatories to that. Every development should follow that. That means all development in the state will be environment friendly. Then as far as we come to energy, if my time is coming to an end, please control me, because there are a lot of opinions expressed here, a lot of schemes here. Now, again back to Lenin. I said education and electricity. See, in the name of electricity, hydropower, we destroyed our forests. Now that is just not possible. The new generation will not allow you for that. Therefore, go back to the alternative systems of energy, wind energy, wave energy, solar energy, thermal energy. A lot of sources are there. Let us have an integrated energy system. And then when we come to the lowest and the least of society, as Gandhiji said, about the temple entry proclamation, when the Diwan said, this is one of the most socially important revolutionary legislation, then Gandhiji smiled and said, will its benefit go to the Nayadis, that is the lowest of the class in the state, which means any socially relevant program becomes meaningful only when its benefits reach the poor. Therefore, there are special programs included in this for the scheduled castes and tribes, or women and children, and especially those who are the weaker sections of society. Now we come to the other aspects. Yes, in the social services sector, Father Roby has already highlighted education, culture, and other soft power, so I am not going into that. Now to the Pravasis. You see, the economy of the state has been propped up by the Pravasis. Kerala's economy is called money order economy because it thrives on the money order which used to come from the Pravasis. And the Vice Chancellor knows it very well. I thank him personally for giving precious input in this section of the action plan, which focuses on the Pravasis. When the Pravasis come back to India, first of all, give them poor among them, give them 6 months living wages directly remitted to their account. Number 2, provide utility centers in all the panchayats so that the mechanics, the plumbers, the electricians, the drivers who return from Gulf and other countries can seek employment here. A third, the most momentous, if I may say so, give them rights to vote. Let there be national constituencies abroad, from where the Pravasis will be able to directly vote their own MLA and MP. Now they are voting, they have voting power. Now they are voting the Kerala MP, the Trivandrum MP, or Cochin MP, or Kottayam MP. No. Let them elect their own MP, the Pravasi Indian MP, to be elected from those countries. This is not a difficult task. Then a certain new concepts are given there. One is notional wages for the housewife. This is a social problem now, which Father Roby and others are like him are addressing. See, we have a tendency to throw our mothers outside the house in the so-called, euphemistically called the Vriddha Sadanam, which is just abandoning the mother. If this is not to happen, there should be a legislation where notional wages are given to the housewife for every hour they work in the home, 50 rupees per hour. You multiply it. When they come to 60 years, they'll be earning more, around 1.5 crores. If the children do not want her, give back her national wage. The government will intervene, recover it from him, and give it to the mother. But you give them love, no mother will want it because it's notional. This is for social security of the mothers. Similarly, there are certain views. The Bible says, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and unto God what is God's. See, Christ never intervened in the politics at the time. He knew very well religion and politics are different. In Kerala, there is a huge discontent among certain sections of people. Why the temples are taken over by government? It should not be done. Dealing politics from religion. Politics has its own norms. Let politics thrive in its own manner. Never ever intervene in politics. I think then social integration councils, which Father said, see every Indian, whether he is a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian or a Parsi, he is an Indian essentially. He has equal right in this country. Our constitution is secular. We are secular not because the constitution is secular. We are secular because our culture teaches us to believe Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. Therefore, in this pluralistic society, every community has equal right, underlying equal right to practice their own religion and grow. It should be an inclusive society. Therefore, let us have the social integration councils where all opinion groups, all religious groups will be represented so that there can be discussion before decisions are taken. And now, the last one has pointed, and a lot of other points that I would like to add. But when it comes to social harmony, this state which is known for its social harmony, in Kerala, during my younger days, there was no talk about communalism in the college and school campuses. Now communalism is coming back, even extremism. The global terrorists are finding an acceptable haven in Kerala for recruitment of terrorists. That should go. We should not allow others, people from other countries, with whatever intentions they are, to make this land a base for recruitment of terrorists. No. Strong action has to be taken unitedly. This land belongs to us. We do not allow anybody, Tukda gang or the Break in India gang should not be allowed to flourish on the soil of Kerala. Therefore, strong measures are to be taken against those who want to destabilize. Now, there are a series of recommendations for the fishermen, a series of recommendations for the other weaker sections of society, a series of recommendations for the new generation, for youth and sports. This covers almost the entire gamut of agricultural, social, and economic development activities, which I, in my humble opinion, could think of, but I do not want to take more of your time. If I am given one more chance, I can answer a crucial question.
I will.
People are asking, how will you implement it?
Yes.
Where does the money come from?
I
if
will
you give me an opportunity later, I can clearly explain where the money will come from.
Okay.
But I don't want to take your time now. Maybe I'll look for the next occasion. I have specific, definite answers to the questions of where the money will come from.
Dr. Bose, I will try to come back again to you. And you have already given so many things, so I need not to repeat, but I'm sure the way you have planned this new model, if it is implemented, it's going to change the Kerala like anything. Now, I would like to ask our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Salam, you were the Vice Chancellor of prestigious Calicut University. You have very good international exposures also. How do you assess the educational requirements of the state and the potential of a state to grow an educational hub?
There are many ailments over here, but one thing I will say is the first thing is, elimination of political interference in the education system. That's the first one. Number two, promotion of more of internationalization. Number three, based on the COVID experience, promotion of online education wherever possible and larger promotion of skill-centric, training and education. There are many things, but along with that, let me list 2-3 things, bulleted points, due to short of time. Number one, Bosji, I am sure this document, a golden document, is a reflection of You are more than 5 decades of experience, accumulated experience, reflection from that. I believe that's a golden document. Number one, I read it, that can be adopted by other states as well, because it contains a lot of great ideas. That's number one. Number two, my worry is, I was talking about UAE model. There is a discipline. But Kerala model, no discipline. Everybody is a leader. That's my worry. How to attain that? Is it possible to suspend this sort of over freedom for some time, at least partially? That's a challenge. The third bulleted point I want to say is, who is our mini Modi at Trivandrum? We should have a mini Modi, strong Modi at Trivandrum. Able Modi who can take up the guardianship of the state. You know, really bringing out the essence of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, and the need for rewriting of the old laws, conventional governance laws to digital governance laws, and transformation of conventional governance to total governance to handle quickly at least the ordinary sort of decision making. And always I am worried about the discipline and the need for suspension of this over freedom for a couple of years. That is needed. Otherwise, all the theories we know the theories, we know the practical ways also. Our inability to implement these things in this ecosystem, the rich system, but inability due to political. That, how best we can remove that? That is the major challenge, I believe. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Salam, for giving your views. Now, my question to Father Robbie. Father Robbie, you are associated with Chavda Cultural Center. What are the steps to be taken by the government and civil society in fostering the communal harmony in the state?
Sir, actually, we were proposing a harmony clubs in the schools and colleges where we are respecting other religion by standing strong in one's own religion. And when we are believing in our own religion and our own faith and upholding our own religion and our own faith, then only we can respect the other religion. And respecting and accepting and celebrating others, and that becomes a new culture in India. So my twin brother, who is president of Dibia Children's League, where our C.V. Ananda Bose ji were involving from his early childhood as a student, that the idea and the motto of that international organization, one of the one of the biggest organization in Asia, where they have more than 20 lakhs members. That is the Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, means we are one family, irrespective of religion and caste and creed. They embrace every child, that every child is given a particular place in their leadership training in that organization. That kind of organization must be promoted to the national level. And this peace education and happiness education and harmony clubs and constitutional, the learning of constitutional values, and that kind of implementation must be there. And my humble suggestion, in tune with Mr. Dr. Abdul Salam ji, the Vice Chancellor, in order to promote this proper education in our campus, central government should ban this campus politics. That's my strong concern and strong belief. Because while I was learning in UC College Adway in 91-94, I started an organization against campus politics, and we filed an Right to Information Act according to this Right to Information Act, and we filed a case in Kerala High Court in 1994, and we had a verdict from Kerala High Court on 96, banning the politics in 10th standard, till 10th standard in the schools. And I just recollect the Supreme Court verdict on banning this politics in a campus, this Limta Commission and all other things, you might be remembering that. And all these things are now neutralized, and again creeping, this politics creeping in campus with this religious fanaticism. And as Bosji noted, that this kind of religious fanatic groups are intervening in campus now. That kind of political interference and religious interference in the campus must be banned by central government. That will work wonders, and that will give more impetus to this communal harmony, and people, the students, can respect the other religious students, those who are earlier in our days, we were not discriminating the students, those who are sitting aside of me, whether he's a Hindu or Muslim or Christian, we were not bothered about that. But now they are bothered about that. That is the danger which is awaiting our nation. So that must be banned. And so that kind of a strong measures must be taken from central government. And this harmony clubs and peace clubs and social integration councils and the chapters of this, all these things must be in individual units of colleges and schools must be promoted. That's my humble suggestion. Thank you so much for giving me this.
Thank you very much, Father Robbie. Now, Dr. Bose, time is short, but I have two things to ask from you. One is definitely, as you mentioned, that how the state will get the funds for implementation of your development model, because you have given a very ideal development model, but whether it is implementable or not, how the funds will come, that we have to just briefly, because the time is short. One more thing which I want to know, because the thing is, this information is correct, that the chief minister at that time, when you were his secretary, was not happy with the housing policy which was submitted to them by the concerned department. And he asked you to prepare something, and within 24 hours, you have formulated the policy and you have submitted to the chief minister, and media applauded the policy for its insight and vision. What you say about that? Was it true or not? Because why I'm asking this question, like Dr. Salam says, and Father also mentioned that so much time you might have taken for formulating this model. But if you can formulate a housing policy in 24 hours, I don't think that you have taken months to formulate this new model of development of Kerala. What you say, Dr. Bose? Only we have 2 minutes.
In all humility, I would say that what you said is right. After a lot of discussions, the housing policy was brought to the chief minister. He didn't like it. So he asked me as a secretary whether I can draft a policy. By the grace of God, I will underline, by the grace of God, I drafted a policy. No, I didn't draft a policy. A policy came in my mind. God filled my mind with that. I just took it out. And that became the policy of the state. And you are right, many newspapers lauded the government for the policy. Anyway, that apart, the cardinal question which you asked, how this action plan can be implemented. With a humble confidence, I say, this is an action plan which will lend itself for measurable implementation in a definite time frame. Having said it, how do you raise the resources? My answer may sound paradoxical. My answer is decrease the tax rate and increase the income. Decrease the tax rate and increase the income. What normally does is the tax rate is increased. Now, recently, we have the instance of Nirmala Sitharaman decreasing the corporate tax. Even economists like Abhijit Bhattacharya, they said the timing was not correct, but they said it is a step in the right direction. Once you decrease the tax rate, investors will feel like coming to the state. And in the state, we have certain industries which are attracting people. Number 1, tourism. Number 2, healthcare. Number 3, education, and a lot more are there. Increase your investment base, and then the volume will give you more taxes. Decrease the tax rate. And another thing is there. You know, when there are certain resources which are not taxed at all or taxed very frugally, the air, earth, and water. See, water, sea, for instance, there is not much of levy or taxes on anybody who uses the sea. The shipping industry or those who lay cables underneath, they get away without These are the resources meant for all of us. Therefore, and also air. Of course, the flights which use the air may be paying a pittance, but we have to see that these are all common heritage which nobody can use without paying. He who uses should pay. It's a different tax regime. And third one, increase the tax base, increase the tax net. In Kerala, since I was also there in administration, particularly with the Chief Minister, see, whenever we want more money, we increase the tax of sales tax, motor vehicles tax, and excise duty. The non-tax revenue of the state, 65% is from lottery. You see, there are so many non-tax sources which have to be taken into account. Instead of trying to tax the one sector or two sector or three sectors, increase the tax base, increase the tax net, then collect the taxes that are due. I have a personal experience. In brief, I'll say, in Kollam, when I was collector, we were only 5th in the state in tax collection. I saw most of the taxes in the stay column. Stay is granted for 3 months, but forever it remains in the stay column. I arrested one leading industrialist, just one leading industrialist. All others started paying back. In the government of Kerala, huge arrears are given stay for political consideration, monetary consideration. Collect them. And secondly, the borrowings which we have, this state has 1 lakh crores is a public debt, which means you and I, Father Roby and the Vice Chancellor and me, our progeny, each citizen of Kerala owes 66,000 debt. So this is wrong management. And even the Reserve Bank has pointed out the wrong public finance management. And then cut short, I don't say dismiss the government officials, let them work from home. Why waste fuel? Why use the car? Why spoil your health? And half the Secretariat of Kerala can be turned into a zoo if you need be, a better purpose. Now, reduce the number of government vehicles by 25%, but let them have their own car, give them an allowance. But don't have so many fleet of cars unnecessarily. And then an MLA's private staff, minister's personal staff, after 2 years, he gets a pension. And he can go 3 persons during his 5-year term. Abolish, scrap it.
Okay.
And ministers and MLAs, this is service, this is not a job. Of course, they should have a living income, not salary.
Okay.
Give them a living income. There are so many things which can be done. Government can reduce its expenses. And government, if public finance is done well, tax base is increased. And then don't take your commercial activities directly by government. Give it to institutions like the electricity board. Government need only give government guarantee. Let them borrow from the banks and run the show.
Okay, Dr.
This
Bose.
can be implemented effectively within 5 years. People will say, this is God's own country. This is an economic paradise. Thank you.
Thank you very much. God's own land, Kerala, that's our country. Thank you very much, Dr. Bose, paucity of the time. So I'm sorry, I have to cut you. So today you have seen how the Kerala is the new development model created by Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, IAS. If it is implemented in a spirit by the state and the central government, the Kerala, which already a leader, will become the world leader. And this model, if it will be implemented on other states, definitely the country will be the global leader. Thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon se